banded march. So it's exactly how it sounds. We're gonna grab a mini band and plant it onto the arch of our feet. Now be mindful, you're gonna want something a little bit more light to medium-ish and not something super heavy, because a heavy band is gonna make it so you have a limited range of motion, which is not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get the knee up to the hip line at the bare minimum, okay? So we're gonna start off, you can start off with just moving your feet, and then as we start to progress, we're going to add in the hands and the arms to get some crossbody working, because you know how much we all love and need that, right? So we're gonna start off by bringing one knee up to your hip line at the very least, if not a little bit higher, okay? And then slow release down. That's super important. It's not a drop, it is a slow release. Pull up and slow release down to the heel. Now you'll notice my arms, I naturally move them. This is just me doing this for a long time, right? So if you can, you're gonna add an opposite arm, opposite leg, and slow release. Now, what I'm adding in, you can see that I go really quick to come up and slow to come down. Like most moves, thinking like a deadlift, etc. But now you can start to add in a little bit more power. So when you come up, can you generate as much force out of your quad as possible and add in your breathing? Now this is the progression, so if you've never done this before, try this later on, maybe not today, but try it next 3 times you try this move. We're gonna use our breath. So using the powerful exhale. Inhale, slow down. Reset, exhale. What that's doing is creating more power out of the muscle instead of just conditioning, we're creating power, like fast force. So that not only are you generating power out of the quads, but now you're generating power out of the core. So it's a lot of everything working together, your abs into your hip flexors, down into your quads, start to fire on. But again, if you're at the beginning, now if you've watched this long video and you're like, oh my gosh, where do I start? Remember, you're just gonna be here marching it out, bringing that knee straight up, and trying to watch how your limbs naturally move. If you are struggling to do this because you don't have a mirror in front of you, that's understandable. Record yourself. Bring your knee up and watch, where does your leg naturally go? Does your knee stay in? Does it turn out? Turn in? What happens here? And how can we start to correct it? Start to just, before anything else, take notice. Be aware of how does your body naturally like to move. And we're gonna start to strengthen up the hip flexors, because it is a common misconception that our hip flexors are too tight, so that we can't do things, which yes, they may be tight, but a lot of times they're actually just inactive and they're not strong enough. So they're tight, but they're weak. So we want them to actually activate and strengthen the muscle in the hip flexor and strengthen the entire hip complex by doing moves like the banded march. So enjoy your banded march today. Start with something light and then increase from there. If you're not feeling the burn that you're quite looking for, start to increase your resistance bands. But remember, we're staying away from the heavy stuff so you can focus on full range of motion out of your hips here.